Hey, it's James with NetNewsLedger, and here's our continuing coverage of the NDP Caucus meeting here in Thunder Bay. I'm here with Sol Mamakwa. So, how's it going in there?
Certainly it's been going well. It's a good opportunity for my fellow colleagues from the NDP Caucus to come up north. Like to them, it's north. For me, I had to come south.
Yes.
So it's a really good opportunity to kind of be present in the north. And I know over the last, being in Parliament for the last year or so, I could tell how, sometimes the north does not get heard in Queen's Park. And it's an opportunity not only for Thunder Bay, but also the whole region, the whole Northern Ontario, to be able to kind of be heard. And NDP is listening, and we're here. Most of the north is orange. Most of the north is NDP members. So it's a really good opportunity, and I think I haven't seen these guys, my colleagues, in about a few months, months. So it's good to touch base and some of the work that we've been doing on the ground with our with the people in our ridings.
Now, some of the issues in the riding. First of all, boil water orders. I know that NDP leader Andrea Horwath has talked about this is a basic human right for everyone in Ontario. But it doesn't seem to be getting a lot of traction either federally or provincially to move as fast as we could on that. What can we be doing?
I think it's very important everybody in Ontario to go to their MPP that we need to be treated with equitable access to clean drinking water.
Yes.
And it's a really you don't when you actually live in it, when you actually deal with it on a daily basis, you begin to normalize it. And sometimes when other people come in with a different lens, a different view, how unequal it is, and how a basic human right like that can be overlooked. And it's a really unfortunate and kind of not acceptable, actually, on how slow the movement on getting rid of the boil water advisories in the north. And so it's a really again, it's really unfortunate. But I think like right now, to me, the way I see it, like when I'm asking questions in Queen's Park, they always refer me to the federal. That's a federal responsibility, and that's not acceptable anymore. And there's just no will on part of the federal government, the provincial government, to ensure that our communities have access to clean drinking water. And I mean, it's not just water. I mean, we have to talk about the sewer system as well.
Yes.
There's the infrastructure that is in the communities today. They've been built. Most of the communities, those facilities, the water and sewer systems were built in the 90s, and then they're over capacity, and then they're getting the systems are getting old, and band-aid solutions are not acceptable anymore. And that's what the bureaucracy within Indigenous Services Canada is doing. They're offering these band-aid solutions, and that's not acceptable anymore. And not only that, we talk about hydro, diesel generation systems, and some of them are at capacity. And when we talk about housing,
Yes.
So housing, is a big issue up north, and overcrowding, and what it leads to is the impacts of the people's health.
Yes.
People's lives, and the wellness of our people, the mental health of our people, and it's a really struggle from the north, and that it impacts the southern municipalities as well. Because people need to come down to people move out because there's no homes or no houses available in the communities. So
I know that Adrian Sutherland of Midnight Shine and Chelsea Jane Edwards from Attawapiskat have been raising, call it a Twitter storm, about the water. It was a federal MP who posted a picture about how wonderful the water was in Ottawa. And they were inviting that MP to come to Attawapiskat and have at their water. And unfortunately, Chelsea's now having to move from her community. She has a new baby. and in a community where they can't even shower without having to leave the window and the door open because of the fumes from the water. That's not Canadian, that's not Ontario to me.
No, it is not. I know, we've been here for generations and generations, and, like to get to where our communities are, to get to where our communities, our people are, that's taken decades and generations for these colonial systems to come into play. And it's a really unfortunate thing, but when we talk about to get out of it, it's going to take decades as well, but also generations. But it doesn't have to be that way. There's ways communities have plans, communities have their infrastructure plans, and it's just a matter of resourcing them. And and it's a matter of again, it goes back to will of the government. There's just no will, and that's kind of how the system was built. That's how the system, and then we fall into that system. So I think we need, some economic development, economic plan, we need to be part of the economy. I think especially the north, the municipalities, the First Nations, and also, the industry, they have to work together on how we can kind of work together on it. And that's we're all the same people. We're going to be here for the next decades and decades. And we can't blame each other anymore. And we need to move forward. And how do we ensure that the government responds? How do we ensure that both levels of government respond? And how do we work together on it? And it's and that's what I'm thinking is that's what I'm seeing, I should say, that there's a infrastructure crisis in the north is imminent, and what all band-aid solutions are not working anymore.
And last week I was at the Sulukut Area Aboriginal Management Board meetings with Ziggy Beardy, and we had some really good presentations there. The Watay Power Project and the training for youth to get not only jobs but to get a career. Yeah. So there are progress slowly being made.
Yeah.
And then there was a presentation on the price of food in the north, which, if our readers and viewers haven't traveled to, say, Fort Severn and gone grocery shopping, boy, you'd have to have a wallet so thick we'd be tipping over like that Seinfeld episode. Prices in the north are also very expensive.
Yeah, certainly. I know that's what I say. I mean, I traveled the north a couple of weeks ago, and I know that's one thing that we have to build is have a capacity building within our communities, and we need to make sure that our children are ready. Like when whether it's high school, post-secondary, or training opportunities, and I know in some of my travels, sometimes I'll check out the stores, the local stores, and also the price of gas. And I think the highest price that I've seen in the north, I think, was around $3.09 per liter. And for a 5-gallon jerry can, that's $70. And if you want to go on a boat, you buy your oil, and that's about $85 to get on. It's that's not acceptable. Like, it's just the cost of living is just so exorbitant, and the cost of living is very high, and sometimes the programs that are here do not even, when we talk about pay equity, like, the amount of funds that we get to hire our people, and it's not a very equitable system. So, but I mean, again, it goes back to the systems was built like that, and
changing the system takes a long time.
Yeah.
It's probably a little tiring.
Yes, yeah, and that's very true, and I know that I grew up with it. My parents grew up with it, and being on reserve, that's part of the colonial mindset, and that's part. It took, Indian Act is one of those colonial policies of the residential school, Indian day schools, all these systems. The justice system, the education system, the court system, the police system that's there, the child welfare system, they're all colonial systems. They're not our systems. So these are colonial systems, and that's one thing that we need to kind of bring back to our communities. And I know I worked in health for a number of years, and one of the things that we understood about health is, a lot of people would tell me that these systems are broken.
Yes.
But in fact, they're not broken. They're working exactly the way they're designed to, which is to take away the rights of our people, to the rights, the lands and resources that are on our lands.
Yes.
So it's a very and those systems are built like that. And how do we, bring back the power and the authority back to the communities to make sure they decide on what they want to see in their communities. So, but again, that's going to take some time to do that and change that mindset to give back and that's kind of like in health, like we spoke about health transformation and using the provincial and federal dollars to build our own system that will bring services closer to home and like it's not built by it's not built by the province or the federal government. It's our own, and that's the vision that I always had. And not just the health, but it's when we talk about the justice system, when we talk about the child welfare system, that's where we need to go. And it's about empowering our people.
Now, tomorrow, the third day of the Northern Caucus meeting with the entire NDP caucus here. And you've got a lot of community leaders that are going to be coming in tomorrow to help. Do you feel that hearing from the people across the north is going to give you a lot more allies on the benches in Queen's Park to help make the changes that are needed?
I think certainly, I think, again, as I said earlier, it's about bringing people together. It's about working together to, again, like when we talk about healthcare service, when we talk about child welfare service, or even daycare, like those type of child care and all that. Like I know we get forgotten in the north. Like I've been there. I've only been there a year, but I see how sometimes the north is forgotten. And, it's they concentrate on the subways down in Queen's Park, but like we are the north, and we need to work together. And I think it will. I'm looking forward to meeting some people from tomorrow's election, and we hope to get some great feedback on how we can kind of align some of the needs and the needs of the north.
Thank you. It's James Murray. We've got continuing coverage from the NDP Northern Caucus meetings here in Thunder Bay. Stay tuned. More to come.